Hi Nana. So we were learning about the applications of Avogadro's law. So here we are now we will learn about the second application of Avogadro law. So it is Avogadro law explains the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. See, by experiments, according to Gay-Lussac's law, when all measurements are made, when all measurements are made at same temperature and pressure, pressure, then the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes for the formation of HCl from hydrogen and chlorine can be written like this. That means when hydrogen reacts with chlorine to form HCl, okay, so according to Gay-Lussac's law, so how do they combine? See, one volume of hydrogen combines with one volume of chlorine to form two volumes of HCl. So that means these two reactants, they are gases. As they are gases, okay, they bear a simple numerical ratio by their volume, and the same simple numerical ratio is extended to even the products also if the product is in gaseous form. So that means the reactants and products will be in the simple whole number ratio by their volumes according to Gay-Lussac's law. So now, this law can be proved with the help of Avogadro law. See, according to Avogadro's law, volume is directly proportional to number of moles or else number of molecules. Equal volumes of all gases contains equal number of molecules according to Avogadro's law. So that means here, based on the volumes, the number of moles will be. Suppose if it is one volume, for one volume, if we consider one mole or else one molecule, then for two volumes, it will be two molecules. Okay. So here, as hydrogen is taken in one volume, so it will be equal to one molecule. If you consider one volume as one molecule, here also one volume will be equal to one molecule. One thing we have to remember that hydrogen, the volume of hydrogen, it is measured under volume of hydrogen, volume of chlorine and volume of HCl, they are measured under same temperature and pressures. So then only this relationship we have to consider. Okay, so now before doing other things, first we have to conclude whether these hydrogen, chlorine and HCl, they are measured, their volumes are measured under same temperature and pressure or not. Okay, so now we have to apply Gay-Lussac's law. So now we have to apply Avogadro's law. So according to Avogadro's law, so equal volumes of all gases contains equal number of molecules. So that means if one volume equal to one molecule, then even chlorine also one volume will be equal to one molecule. So here HCl is two volumes, hence it is equal to two molecules. So this is what Avogadro law, according to Avogadro law. Okay. So here, if for two molecules, here one molecule of chlorine and one molecule of hydrogen will combine for the formation of two molecules of HCl. Suppose if it is for formation of one molecule of HCl, then how much amount of chlorine should combine? So half molecule of chlorine should combine, and hydrogen also half molecule of hydrogen should combine. So like this, for the formation of one molecule of HCl, half molecule of hydrogen and half molecule of chlorine should combine. Half molecule of hydrogen means already we know that hydrogen is diatomic gas. So here diatomic molecule. Hence half molecule. One molecule is equal to 2 atoms. Then half molecule will be equal to 1 atom. And even chlorine also, as it is diatomic molecule, half molecule is equal to 1 atom. So 1 atom of hydrogen will combine with 1 atom of chlorine to form one molecule of HCl. So in reality it is like that only. So that means, so this relationship proves this relationship. That means Gay-Lussac's law, Gay-Lussac's law can be proved with the help of Avogadro's law by this way. Okay, that means thus one molecule one molecule of HCl contain or else for the formation of one molecule of HCl, so one atom of hydrogen and one atom of chlorine will combine. So this relationship, if you go back, then it proves the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volume. So by this relationship, if we go back, so hence Gay-Lussac's law of combining volume can be proved. So thus one molecule of HCl contain one atom of hydrogen and one atom of chlorine. So that means equal volumes of all gases contain equal number of molecules. Okay, so hence this law can be explained. Okay, so Gay-Lussac's law can be explained in this way. Okay, now we will learn the third application of Avogadro law. What is the third application of Avogadro law? See, third application of Avogadro law is nothing but it's a determination of relationship between between gram molecular mass okay, and gram molecular volume. Gram molecular mass and gram molecular volume. See, what is gram molecular mass? So actually this is the third application of Avogadro law. So here before learning this one, so first what is gram molecular mass? Gram molecular mass is nothing but relative molecular mass. It is nothing but relative molecular mass when expressed in grams. When expressed in grams, it is called as gram molecular mass. It is also called as gram molecule. It is also called as gram molecule. Okay, also called as gram molecule. Okay, see, 1 mole of any gas, whatever the gas you take, either hydrogen or oxygen or carbon dioxide or nitrogen or chlorine, any gas you may take. See, 1 mole of any gas, it should contain 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules. It is proved. Okay, it is proved. And 1 mole of any gas, whatever the gas it may be, they must contain same volume. 1 mole of any gas must contain same volume. It is under similar conditions. Same volume under similar conditions. Under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. So whatever the gas you may take, so it occupies same volume. For example, 1 mole of, if 1 mole of oxygen under certain conditions, under certain conditions, it occupies x liters, then 1 mole of nitrogen also will occupy x liters under same conditions, under set of conditions. Okay, even 1 mole of nitrogen also will occupy same x liters under same set of conditions. That means under same temperature and pressure. So here oxygen, so when oxygen is measured at certain temperature and pressure, okay, and if it occupies x liters under that temperature and pressure, okay, if you measure nitrogen also at the same temperature and pressure, then nitrogen also, if it is 1 mole of nitrogen, okay, then okay, if it is equal to one number of moles of oxygen, then it occupies the same volume. Okay, that means if you take 1 mole of oxygen under certain set of conditions, okay, if it occupies x liters, okay, then even nitrogen also under the same set of conditions, 1 mole of nitrogen will also occupy the same x liters. Okay, so this is the thing we should remember always. That means 1 mole of any gas must contain same volume under similar set of conditions. For example, if you take at STP, remember standard temperature and pressure. 1 mole of any gas at STP, it occupies, if it is STP, 1 mole of oxygen, it occupies 22.4 liters. Even 1 mole of nitrogen also will occupy 22.4 liters. Same set of conditions, same temperature and same pressure. So when same temperature and pressure are same, then equal moles of any gases, they will occupy equal number of volumes. So that is the relationship. Okay, gram molecular mass is nothing but relative molecular mass when expressed in grams. So it is equal to mole. Okay, right. So from this we can understand. So 1 mole of any gas must contain same volume. And one more thing. See, density, if you take what is the density? Density of a gas. Density of a gas is equal to mass. Okay, mass of gas by volume of gas. It is a ratio of mass by volume. Suppose if it is for 1 mole, the mass of gas, the mass of 1 mole of gas will be equal to gram molecular mass. Remember, for 1 mole, the mass of gas will be equal to gram molecular mass, and for 1 mole, the volume will be equal to gram molar volume. Okay, gram molar mass, gram molar volume. So if it is 1 mole, for 1 mole, this formula, that means density can be written like this. Density is equal to, if it is 1 mole, okay, exactly if it is 1 mole, then density is equal to mass of the gas can be written as gram molar mass, and volume of the gas can be written as gram molar volume. So from this it is understood gram molar volume will be equal to gram molar mass or else gram molecular mass by density of the gas. Okay, density of gas. So from this relationship, so we will this is the relationship between gram molecular mass and gram molar volume. So here they are related through the density. Okay, density is equal to gram molar mass by gram molar volume, or else gram molecular mass by gram molecular volume. So now we'll solve a small problem. Okay, we'll see an exercise example. For example, uh, gram molecular mass of hydrogen is gram molecular mass of hydrogen is 2.016 grams. Okay, and its density and its density is 0.09 gram per decimeter cube. The density of hydrogen is this much only. Okay, at STP, remember at STP, under these conditions, standard temperature and standard pressure, so the density of hydrogen is this much. Then what will be the gram molecular volume of hydrogen? So under these conditions, so what is the gram molar or else gram molecular volume of hydrogen gas? So already we know density is equal to gram molecular mass by gram molecular volume, or else gram molar mass by gram molar volume. So now we have to find gram molar volume, because we need to, in the question we need to find gram molar volume. So gram molar volume will be equal to gram molar mass by density, or else gram molecular volume is equal to gram molecular mass by density. So already these two are given. So what is the gram molecular mass? So it is 2.016 by density 0.09 grams per. So it will be equal to how much? It will be exactly, if you calculate, you will get 22.4 liters. 22.4 liters. Okay, that means gram molecular volume of hydrogen at STP. Gram molecular volume of hydrogen at STP is how much? This much. See, remember that gram molecular volume, it is nothing but, always you have to remember that gram molecular volume is nothing but volume of 1 mole of which gas here? It is hydrogen. Suppose if it is some other gas, suppose if it is oxygen, then here it will be equal to gram molecular volume of oxygen is nothing but volume of 1 mole of oxygen. But in this question it is given as hydrogen. So based on, because here this density is related to hydrogen only. So here we'll discuss on the basis of hydrogen now. So generally gram molecular volume of any gas, whatever it may be, equal to volume of 1 mole of that gas. Okay, already we know that volume of 1 mole of any gas, okay, at STP it is exactly equal to 20.4 liters. So under this condition, even in this problem also gram molecular volume, so finally we got what? Gram molecular volume, we got 22.4 liters only. Okay, so remember, for any gas it's a gram molecular volume at STP. So this is the important. At STP will be equal to 22.4 liters. Okay, we'll see another example. Gram molecular mass of oxygen, okay, gram molecular mass of oxygen is how much? It is 32. Okay, and its density and its density and its density is 1.429 gram per decimeter cube. See, density, this is obtained experimentally, remember. So this value is obtained experimentally. So this is also at STP. So what is the gram volume of the gram molar volume? What is the gram molar volume? Here it is mentioned as gram molecular, hence gram molecular volume. Gram molar volume or gram molecular volume, both are same. Okay, both are same. So already we have learnt about this problem. Okay, I mean such problem. Even the previous problem also, it is of same type. Okay, you can do this one, or else already we know the relationship. Density is equal to gram molecular mass by gram molecular volume, or else gram molar mass by gram molar volume. So we need to find gram molar volume at STP. Okay, so gram molar volume will be equal to, okay, gram molecular mass by density. So gram molecular mass, it is fixed, and density it changes from with the conditions. So the with temperature and with pressure, when temperature and pressure changes, the density changes. But gram molecular mass, it is fixed to a given gas. Okay, so here gram molecular mass, it is given as 32. Okay, 32 grams. Okay, so that means 32 by what is density? 1.429. So even for this also, if you calculate, you will get exactly 22.4 liters only. So that means whatever the gas you may take, if it is gram, it is equal to gram. If it is equal to gram molecular mass, if you take the amount of gas exactly equal to gram molecular mass. Gram molecular mass is nothing but 1 mole. 1 mole of gas. If it is exactly equal to 1 mole of gas, okay, the mass of 1 mole of gas, then at STP conditions, its volume will be 22.4 liters, irrespective of any gas. So here we have taken oxygen gas. In the previous example, we have taken hydrogen gas. So whatever the gas you may take, so this is the thing one should learn. 1 mole of any gas, 1 mole of any gas at STP, its volume will be 22.4 liters. Okay, so that means gram molecular volume of this gas at STP will be equal to 22.4 liters. So in this way, so the relationship between gram molecular mass and gram molecular volume can be obtained, okay, with the help of Avogadro law. See, I have given summary of this one, right? So now we will learn the fourth application of Avogadro law, the relationship between relative molecular mass okay, or else relative molecular mass is also called as molecular weight. Remember, molecular weight and vapor density. VD. So in order to do this one, So actually Avogadro law helps us to find the relationship between these two. So first of all we will learn what is vapor density. Vapor density, it is nothing but relative density. It is nothing but relative density. Relative density. What is the meaning of relative? Relative means comparison. So it is nothing but it's a comparison of density of one gas with the density of lightest gas. So generally what is the lightest gas? Hydrogen. So now we have to compare the density of one gas, density of a gas by density of hydrogen, density of hydrogen. Okay, under same conditions of temperature and pressure. See the density of gas. So under which temperature and pressure the density of gas is measured. Even the density of hydrogen also should be measured under the same temperature and pressure. So here the density, the ratio of density of a gas, given gas. This gas may be any gas except hydrogen. It may be any gas. It may be helium or nitrogen or chlorine or carbon dioxide or methane or any gas. Okay, so if you do the ratio of these two gases, the density of these two gases, then it is called as relative density. Relative density is nothing but vapor density. See, already we know that density is equal to mass per volume. For 1 mole of a gas, for 1 mole of a gas at STP, so density will be equal to 1 mole means it is equal to gram molecular mass by volume. So here density is equal to mass equal mass of 1 mole equal to gram molecular mass, and volume of 1 mole equal to at STP it is equal to 22.4 liters. Remember. So here density of gas, if it is density of gas, then gram molecular mass of that gas. So here instead of density of that gas I am writing this relationship. So gram molecular mass of gas by 22.4 liters. Even this is the density of gas. Now the density of hydrogen also will be in the same ratio. It is also in the same way. So here density of hydrogen, density of 1 mole of hydrogen, for 1 mole of hydrogen gas at STP, density is equal to gram molecular mass by 22.4. So gram molecular mass of hydrogen we have to take here. So here density of hydrogen will be gram molecular mass of hydrogen by 22.4 liters. So here, so finally vapor density is equal to what? Gram molecular mass by how much of gas by gram molecular mass of hydrogen. So this is the relationship. See, what is a gram molecular mass? Molecular mass, not atomic mass. Gram molecular mass. So molecular mass of hydrogen. So atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Molecular mass of hydrogen will be 2. So that means vapor density is equal to gram molecular mass of gas by 2. That means 2 times of vapor density will be equal to gram molecular mass of gas. Okay, if molecular mass is expressed in grams, then it is said to be gram molecular mass. See, molecular mass is nothing but relative molecular mass. So that means relative molecular mass of a gas, relative molecular mass of a gas is equal to 2 into vapor density. Relative molecular mass of a gas is equal to 2 into vapor density. So like this the vapor density and relative molecular mass are related to each other. Okay, or else simply we'll write like this: molecular weight, because molecular weight is nothing but related to molecular mass. So molecular weight is equal to 2 times of its vapor density. Molecular weight is equal to 2 times of its vapor density. Small example. Vapor density is equal to 2 times of its molecular weight by a small question. What is the vapor density of what is the vapor density of what is the vapor density of methane? What is the vapor density of methane at STP? What is the vapor density of methane at STP? Or else what even under any set of conditions, it will be, the relationship will be like this only. Under any conditions, under any set of conditions, the relationship will be like that only. Because here because even this one is 22.4. So if it is 22.4, here also it will be 22.4. If it is some other volume, here also it will be the same volume. Okay, so hence you will get the relationship like this only, and under any set of conditions you will get the relationship like this only. So here no need of mentioning STP. What is the vapor density of methane? Simply, if this is the question, so how to answer? What is the solution to this question? Solution can be known with the help of this one, this relationship. Vapor density is equal to molecular weight by 2. What is the molecular weight of methane? Methane, its formula is CH4. Hence its molecular weight is 16. So that means 16 by 2, it is equal to 8. The vapor density of methane is 8. Vapor density of methane is equal to 8. So like this, the relationship between vapor density and molecular relative molecular mass or else molecular weight can be known. So this is most important formula. So one has to practice it well. Now we will learn the last application of Avogadro's law. It is related to determination of molecular formula of a gas. Last application of Avogadro law related to determination of molecular formula of a gas. See how molecular formula of a gas, whatever the gas it may be. So how to find the molecular formula of a gas? So what is molecular formula action? For example, if you take any gas, carbon dioxide. So here for carbon dioxide, the gas carbon dioxide, its molecular formula is CO2. So what does molecular formula tells? So this molecular formula tells that there is one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. One carbon atoms and two oxygen atoms present in one molecule of this carbon dioxide. Okay. So methane, if you take methane. So what is its molecular formula? CH4. Its molecular formula is CH4. So from molecular formula of methane, it is understood that one molecule of methane contains one carbon and 4 hydrogen atoms. One carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. So like this, the molecular formula, it is nothing but a chemical formula which gives the actual number of atoms of different elements. So here, this element, how many atoms of this element? Only one atom of this element. And this element, how many atoms? 2 atoms of this element. So in this one molecule of methane, so one atom of carbon and 4 atoms of hydrogen, like this. So number of atoms of different elements. Okay, so it gives the actual number of atoms of different elements present in one molecule of a compound. So it's called as a molecular formula. So molecular formula is nothing but what? It's a chemical formula, so which gives the actual number of atoms of different elements, each element, actual number of atoms of each element, okay, actual number of atoms of each element present in one molecule of that compound. Okay, right. So in order to determine the molecular formula of any gas, so we can use Avogadro law like this. Already we know for the formation of ammonia, in the preparation of ammonia, nitrogen and hydrogen gases are used. In the preparation of ammonia, nitrogen and hydrogen gas are used. So now, if you write the equation, nitrogen and hydrogen will react with each other to form ammonia. Ammonia formula is NH3, H2 and N2. Experimentally, it is proved that 1 volume of nitrogen, it requires 3 volumes of hydrogen. That means 1 volume of nitrogen requires 3 volumes of hydrogen, okay, to form 2 volumes of ammonia. So according to Galchuk's law, so it is a experimental truth, so it is a proved one. So for the formation of every 2 volumes of ammonia, so 3 volumes of hydrogen is required, and along with 3 volumes of hydrogen, 1 volume of nitrogen is required. So then only reaction takes place between these two, nitrogen and hydrogen, and forms ammonia, and the so formed ammonia will be 2 volume. So now apply Avogadro law. Avogadro law. So what is Avogadro law? Avogadro law says that equal volumes of all gases contains equal number of molecules. So from this, if it is one volume, if it is 1 volume is equal to n molecules, then 3 volumes will be 3n molecules, will be equal to 3n molecules. And here 2 volumes will be equal to 2n molecules. So for example, if it is 1 molecule, then it will become 3 molecules, and this will become what? It will become 2 molecules. Okay, cancel in. Right. So that means 3 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of nitrogen are necessary for the formation of 2 molecules of ammonia. Okay, 3 molecules of hydrogen. 3 molecules of hydrogen means it contains every molecule of hydrogen. Every molecule of hydrogen is equal to 2 hydrogen atoms. So 3 molecules of hydrogen means it is equal to 6 hydrogen atoms. 6 hydrogen atoms. And 1 molecule of nitrogen is equal, every 1 molecule of nitrogen is equal to 2 nitrogen atoms. So as it is 1 molecule only, hence 2 nitrogen atoms. So that means 2 nitrogen atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms will combine, okay, to form 2 molecules of ammonia. So that means for the formation of 1 molecule of ammonia, it requires half of this one. So here how much it will be? 3 hydrogen atoms, and here it will be 1 nitrogen atom. So from this data, it is understood that 1 molecule of ammonia, it is formed from 3 hydrogen atoms by combining of 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 nitrogen atom. So from this it is understood that 1 molecule of ammonia contains 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 nitrogen atom. So that means, so from this it is understood that nitrogen atom will be 1 and hydrogen atoms will be 3. So for 1 we no need of writing 1. So hence the formula of ammonia will be like this, NH3. So like this. So determination of molecular formula of gas can be done with the help of by applying Avogadro law. So like this Avogadro law helps us for the determination of molecular formula also. So these are all several applications of Avogadro law. So we will learn we will learn some examples, some numerical problems on Avogadro law. Okay, and after that we will start a stoichiometry. Okay, Nana. Bye.